Well, good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Al Fadi and another very special live stream of Let Us Reason. Of course, it's even more special when we have our dear brother David Wood here with us. And I know many of you have indicated that you've missed watching him, at least periodically, but he's been active. And I don't know if you guys been receiving any notifications, but he has been going at it and doing a lot of wonderful videos as always. Today, I asked David if he can join me. A couple of weeks ago, he kindly agreed, and he suggested an interesting topic. In light of the most recent, if you want to call it, debate between the apostate prophet and Ali Dawah, and we're going to address that in the course of this particular short, I should say, episode. But at the same time, David have a game plan to at least discuss the observations we're noticing lately in terms of the Muslim debaters or apologists, if you wish. And with that in mind, of course, I want to welcome you, brother. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. And I want to welcome everyone who's joining us at the same time.
Well, good to be here with you, Al. But do my eyes deceive me, or have you crossed well over 100,000 subscribers now?
I did, David. Because of your hard work, we were able to make it.
Yeah, and in fact, I think we were together in the studio when you first crossed 1,000 just a couple years ago.
I remember.
Was that correct? That's where you crossed 1,000.
That's true, and I remember you telling me, it will take a while, and you said once you hit 10,000, it will become easier. But then you hit 100,000, so. And you gave me a lot of advice, so I'm really thankful for the advice and the tips you gave us.
And now 100,000, so that is huge. Yeah. That's huge. That's cool. Yeah. Awesome. Congratulations. Good work. All right. So the Dawah Civil War. Have you noticed a little civil war going on there?
Oh, absolutely, David. I mean, you shared some videos with me from some of the Muslims, and my goodness, man, they are going at Ali Dawah in a vicious way.
And it's they're going back and forth. So you've got Ali Dawah and Muhammad Hijab and so on one side. You've got Sajid, Lipim, and some others on that side. But then you also have smaller YouTubers, people with smaller followings on YouTube, and they're picking sides, either for the Ali Dawah camp or for the Sajid camp, or saying, hey, guys, this is embarrassing that you guys are having this dispute. Can you just, come together and sweep all this under the rug? So you have people making videos on those issues. But then you have, Twitter battle going on and so on. And so it's looking messy. And it's just getting started. And I mean, can you imagine? Could there be worse timing right now? Could there be worse timing? I don't know if you've noticed, but there's already this thing they've got going on called the avalanche of apostasy. I mean, that was already going on, right?
Right.
Are you familiar with this? The avalanche of apostasy?
Yeah, of course.
So this has been going on for a while, and before I had ever known you're talking back in 2006, 2007, 2008, it was very popular to say no one leaves Islam. And if you claimed to be an ex-Muslim, they would say you're a liar, you were never a Muslim, you're a Jew, or something like that, right? That was very, very common. Pretty recently, you're talking a decade and a half ago, that was still common. And about 5 years ago, they started talking. You started hearing more and more, not just about that Muslim who left Islam or that Muslim who left Islam, but you started hearing about massive numbers of Muslims leaving Islam, even in Muslim countries. And Ali Dawah just a couple years ago posted something saying 100,000 Muslims are leaving Islam every year. And this is an appeal to, support your da'is like him. But what's amazing is that was one, that statistic is already several years old now, but two, that was just America, right? That statistic right. was just for, and this is several years ago. And this statistic was 100,000 Muslims per year leaving Islam in the United States. So there's that, there's the where we get this avalanche of apostasy phrase, where one Muslim speaker was saying, if we don't do something about this, it's going to become an avalanche, and our community is not going to be able to stand up under what's coming at us, all of this apostasy. We had another Muslim speaker say that the latest statistic, and again, this is from a couple of years ago, was that 24% of Muslim youth are leaving Islam. We had another Muslim speaker say that there are actually, the estimate is that there are, I think he said, around 5% of Muslims in Muslim countries are closet atheists. So you're talking 5% of Muslims in countries with millions and millions of people, sometimes hundreds of millions of people. And he's saying 5% are actually atheists, and they're keeping it a secret. Then more recently, we had a Muslim speaker saying that that he has personally met hundreds, just in him going around in mosques and so on, he has personally met hundreds of young Muslims who were leading prayers. They're people who've memorized the Quran, and yet they confess to him in private that they don't believe in Islam anymore. And
Wow.
they're just living, they're continuing to live as Muslims in madrasa and everything else, even though they don't believe in it. And they're asking what to do, because they're worried about, what their parents will do and things like that. And so, that's this guy saying that he's met hundreds of Muslims. Just and you have to wonder, how many more hasn't he met? Because he doesn't know most. He hasn't been to most mosques in the world. Sure. And so you've got that. And when I posted a video, I posted where I'd gotten a couple of comments from Muslims who left Islam and then continued pretending to be Muslims. And so I shared just a couple of those. I covered their names and so on, but I shared that to verify what this Muslim speaker was saying about people continuing to live as Muslims. And then I started getting tons of comments saying that's exactly what I'm going through right now. I'm continuing to live as a Muslim.
That is fascinating.
And so that's already going on. That's the background of what's happening, because what this does is, now there's this state of panic in the Muslim world, and we can understand it, because Christians know what it's like to see people leave Christianity and so on. We know what it's like for parents to see their kids go off to college or something like that and no longer believe in Christianity. And so people will say, but people leave Christianity too. It's a different situation, right? Islam, according to its sources, is supposed to expand and expand and expand until it takes over the world. It conquers the world and subjugates everyone else. That's what's supposed to be the case, according to Islam's most trusted sources. If you're a Muslim right now, you have to be thinking, when is that going to happen? If we're losing ground and people are leaving Islam left. See, there's nothing in Christianity that tells us to go out that we're supposed to subjugate the world. Right. There's things about, hey, we're going to be totally outnumbered and we're going to be persecuted. So nothing that's happening is in any sort of conflict with that. But if you're a Muslim and you think, hey, we have to go out and subjugate the world and until the entire world is controlled by Islam, and meanwhile you've got this avalanche of apostasy going, this has to be crushing you. And so the Muslim community is in this state of absolute desperation. What are we going to do? And this is where it becomes an awesome opportunity to become a da'i, right? If you could put yourself forward as the solution to this problem. Hey everyone, people are leaving Islam like crazy. Your kids are leaving Islam. Everyone's leaving Islam. But if you support my dawah, then I'll save your kids and I'll save the community and so on. And then we'll do something about this avalanche of apostasy. So this is an awesome time to put yourself forward as the new champion of Islam, especially with the rise of the internet, because now anyone can do it. Anyone can jump online. What you have is, we have to back up a little here, because if you, and I'm sure you're familiar with this, but if you go back, even 15 years, 20 years and so on, the people who were put forward as the champions of Islam were like Ahmed Deedat and Zakir Naik and so on. As far as the people who were really popular, the people who were being put forward on college campuses and so on in the United States, because this is when I started dealing with this issue, I'd see who showed up. The people who were put forward as the champions of Islam were these well-spoken, eloquent, calm, nice, very well-spoken individuals who were showing you, the student, that Islam is not like what you see in the media. It's actually peaceful, it's tolerant, it supports human rights and women's rights, and Muhammad was a feminist and all these other things. And they put forward these incredibly nice, well-presented people to support Islam. And there were people like me thinking, I have Muslim friends and I know other Muslims, and they don't seem like that. A lot of them seem more aggressive, and there are lots of people out there who are angry. So why aren't these guys ever represented? Why do these guys look like businessmen when they show up to support Islam? Why do they look like bankers and so on? They don't look like what most Muslims would think of as their champions and so on. But with the rise of the internet, Muslims could bypass the organizations, the Muslim organizations and Muslim schools that were carefully handpicking people who were good for reaching a Western audience. Now, a Muslim could just jump on YouTube, start preaching, start making fun of the unbelievers, and get a massive following. So you could get some people who are far more popular than anyone who's going the older route, where you had to, they would want you to spend years training and learning about Islam so you don't make dumb mistakes, learning how to present Islam under fire and you don't make dumb mistakes and say something stupid. So they were handcrafting people back in the day. Muslim organizations and Dawah centers were handcrafting the next champions of Islam. And then all of a sudden the internet gets here and anyone can jump forward and build up a following and become more popular than those guys. And so this is how you get your Ali Dawahs and your Muhammad hijabs and what you have. And I've been saying this for years, that sometimes the people who will do well on YouTube are people who want a lot of attention, right? Those are the people who love jumping in videos and getting lots of attention for themselves. So you run the risk of running into some people with narcissistic personalities where they want attention, they want glory for themselves. And so you have to be careful of that, because when someone jumps on YouTube, is it because that person views YouTube as the best way to share information with large, parts of the world? Or is that a person who wants attention and glory for himself? And what you've got over the past few years is you've gotten speakers who they're young, they're aggressive, they have narcissistic tendencies, meaning they want attention and praise for themselves. And then they jump online and they get the attention that they want. They get the attention that they crave. And that just boosts their egos. So now they're like the center of the universe, according to themselves. They feel like they're the center of the universe. And so they become more and more narcissistic, and they get to the point where you can't question them anymore. They can't handle any sort of criticism. They lash back at you if you try to challenge or criticize them in any way. They can't handle, as narcissists, they can't handle any sort of criticism. And so you have several of the top champions of Islam now are actually narcissists who can't handle any sort of criticism and whose egos have been massively inflated by their followings. But they're doing things that are becoming increasingly more and more embarrassing to the Muslim community, because they didn't go through those years of careful training. They didn't go through
Exactly.
that. Yeah, and they're doing things to get themselves attention. So they have to keep one-upping themselves and schooling everyone more and more and insulting everyone more and more. And so they're getting their heads are getting bigger and bigger. And now you've actually got Muslims who recognize, guys, we got a problem here. We have to do something about it. The people who will have the biggest names right now and are most popular are people who are doing horrible, horrible damage. We need to say something. But now you can't say anything to these guys, because as soon as you say something to them, hey, you're wrong about this. You're just jealous. You're jealous of my fame. You're jealous because I'm the greatest da'i in history. You're jealous because of the great influence I have. And you're trying to tear me down because you're jealous of my popularity. And so that's the situation we've got going on right now with that's what started the Dawah civil war.
Yes, and I agree with you, of course. And you notice that many of those who are criticizing Ali Dawah, like for instance, that lady, I think Milhan, her name, she actually was lashing back because he was also attacking her. He was mocking her. He was going after her. So now it's almost like an opportunity for the other side to go after him. So what do you attribute the fact that many people, many young generation follow the likes of Ali Dawah, even though you can tell the guy doesn't have that proper training?
Yeah, well, I mean, he is a much better fit for, you know, YouTube or one of these social media platforms. It helps if, and it's part of the similar reasons to how, like, I gained lots of followers in terms of, you know, I'm not just some boring speaker, right? You can have a Muslim scholar who stands there and my ruling on this, blah, 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 and my fatwa is. On social media, you're kind of competing for people's attention, right? So, especially on a platform like YouTube, if people are watching you and they get bored watching you, well, there's all this other stuff right beside there to cry out to them. Notice the difference between back in the day. If you go to the mosque, with your family, you sit down in the mosque and you're listening to someone speak, you're kind of stuck there, right? There's not a lot competing for your attention. You may be thinking, man, I would really rather be doing something else, but you're kind of dug in where you're at. If you get up and walk out, people are going to notice you, and so worst case scenario, you're going to daydream about stuff, right? But you're not leaving. Whereas on something like YouTube, if you start losing people, then everything else is crying out to them right here. Click me. I'm much more exciting than that. So it helped. It helped in. It helps people become. Get more followers and get more views on YouTube if you're not boring. So if you're funny, if you're entertaining, if you can stir up people's emotions, all sorts of various things can help you on YouTube. So people are actually getting some YouTube, some valuable YouTube tips and training right now. The difference between someone like Ali Dawah and some other people who have some similar characteristics in terms of people like watching them or think they're funny or something like that is, like, if you're watching my channel, yeah, I might be goofing off and I might be making fun of something, but there's a substance there. I'm mocking something. There's a serious point there, and I'm just I'm wrapping it up in something to make it more amusing, to hold people's attention so that they actually get the point. Some of the other guys, they just act like, they act like idiots and they get a following that way. If you look closer, there's no real substance there. There's no real substance to what they're doing. With that said, Ali Dawah, he has some of the characteristics that he would share with other YouTubers, meaning that he's not being boring. He might be funny or something like that. I haven't watched a lot of his videos, but the main thing, the main advantage he has is that he's mocking and attacking critics of Islam. And that is something the younger generation loved, and not just the younger generation, but there are just tons and tons of Muslims. If you're the one who's insulting the non-Muslims and putting them in their place, then you will be popular with someone who's not doing that, because there are people who aren't attacking, they're not mocking, they're not bragging about killing apostates and so on. Whereas someone like Ali Dawah, he's putting everyone in their place. I mean, he's literally telling the apostate prophet, "Hey, if we win, we're going to kill you." And there are Muslims in the world, lots of Muslims, especially in the West, who go, "Oh my goodness, we don't want to be saying that. That's going to give Islam a bad reputation." There are other Muslims in the world who are so enraged at the apostate prophet, they want their guys saying, "That's right, we're going to kill. As soon as we get the chance, you are dead, dude. We're going to kill you, and we're proud of that." Right? They want to hear that. They want to hear that, and you just get really popular that way. And so, people like Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawah, they basically came in at exactly the right time when people are in a panic mode. They're looking for who their new champions are going to be, and these guys put themselves forward. We're the ones who are going to save you. We're going to show you who's strong. We're going to show you that everyone else is weak, and we're so strong. We're so mighty. we're so great. We're gonna save Islam by our strength and our power and our insults and putting down all these people. And well, you get a pretty big following. You get a pretty big following like that, but now it's just becoming an embarrassment because people are starting to catch on that all these guys are doing is insulting. And that's what sort of led into the debate with the apostate prophet, where Ali Dawah's fans are thinking, oh, okay, cool. We're finally going to get a debate with Ali Dawah. I don't know if he's ever debated before, but hey, we're finally going to get to see Ali Dawah destroy the apostate prophet. And all he did was act like an idiot the entire time.
He did indeed. And to be honest with you, I didn't think he was taking the whole thing seriously. I mean, he was looking at his phone, eating grapes, interrupting apostate prophet. So tell us a little bit more about your assessment of what happened, technically speaking, that led to all of this.
Yeah, I only watched, I don't know how long exactly I watched, maybe an hour since when AP started. When AP started the thing, I watched for maybe an hour or so. But I know when people started talking about grapes, I hadn't seen that. So I stopped at some point before the grapes. And it was really because, okay, there's nothing here. It's just becoming an insult fest. And that's not on AP. AP was completely willing to have a discussion. It just became clear that Ali Dawah wasn't interested in really anything except for what he normally does. And I mean, I expected that, okay, he's doing something to deceive here, because these guys, I have known Muslims in my life that I would trust with my life, right? Nabil, when he was a Muslim, I would have trusted him with my life. I would have trusted him with my children's lives. I would have trusted his parents with my children's lives. So this isn't about being a Muslim, but these particular guys, they don't believe that they have to honor any agreement with you. And I asked AP when we were talking about this, I said, have you ever been in a situation with these guys, the Ali Dawahs, the Muhammad Hijabs, where they weren't trying to deceive you? Have you been in an encounter, a public encounter with them, where they weren't trying to deceive you in some way? And he couldn't think of any. I couldn't think of any either. My first interaction with Muhammad Hijab was when we had a debate, and I was required, and we both agreed. We were both required to agree that there will be no going off topic. There will be no personal attacks. There will be, we were going to behave in a friendly manner the entire time. As soon as we get on stage, he breaks every agreement we made. I stick to the agreement, and the attitude afterwards is, haha, you fell for it. And that's the mentality, right? We got you. We tricked you. We deceived you. And then Muhammad Hijab wanted to debate the apostate prophet. Then he said he wasn't. And then AP shows up on someone else's show. And then all of a sudden, haha, Muhammad Hijab is here. And so it's like that with these guys, that they always have to deceive you in some way. They have to trick you. And so with Ali Dawah, the question was, is he doing more of the same, or is he finally going to actually have a normal, rational conversation with other people? And, the first thing you see is, apostate prophet, you're going to take the mubahala? Ha ha, I tricked you. You can't do the mubahala, ha ha, because you don't believe in God. Now, that's just silly and ridiculous, right? Because even though AP doesn't believe in God, AP can say, hey, I don't believe in God, but I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, and your God does exist, and your God is the truth, and Muhammad's a true prophet, then I invite that curse upon me right now. So let's see if what your God does. Anyone can do that, right? So, I mean, keep in mind, when Muhammad did the mubahala, there were no atheists around. So you can't say, these are the rules for the atheists. There are no rules for an atheist. There weren't any atheists around. But it does make sense that someone can say, yes, I grant, if your God exists, then I invite him to do this. But the whole thing was, I tricked you, you're so dumb, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wait, you invite him for mubahala, and then it was another trick. And it's like, that's all we get from you, is trying to trick other people and so on. So I was just, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. I thought it was just, okay, it's going to be a joke. Let me get off here. I left it. And that's when I saw Muslims start posting, saying how horrible it was, and how Ali Dawah was causing problems and so on, and then started seeing the backlash of Ali Dawah's fans trying to shout them down and school them. And then he started getting the more serious responses from people like Sajid and Abdul Rahman, his friend, and they're actually much calmer. And keep in mind, guys, none of these guys like us. Right?
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they even mocked AP anyway. They said, I mean, they're not friends with him, but they
Yeah.
talk in a very polite, kind of like diplomatic fashion.
Yeah. And it's so, but notice how manipulative the followers of people like Ali Dawah are, that as soon as you criticize Ali Dawah, they go, "Oh, you're siding with the kuffar, you're siding with the enemies of Islam." And so notice, I mean, according to Ali Dawah, could run naked down the street like a crazy person. And if you criticize him, "Oh, you're siding with the enemies of Islam who are saying, wow, what an idiot," right? Because that's what we would say. If he started running down the streets naked, screaming, everyone convert to Islam, right? We'd say, what is this? This guy's an idiot. And then people like Sajid would say, "This is so embarrassing. What are you doing?" Right? And then they would say, "Oh, you're siding with the enemies." Right? And it's like, wait a minute, guys, sometimes if you're a Muslim, you'd have to grant, well, sometimes, the enemies of Islam are just right. There are people who are doing stupid, embarrassing things. And Ali Dawah and Muhammad Hijab are some of them. Sadly for Muslims, though, they're the ones who are most popular. They're the big names. Mm-hmm.
Well, you mentioned Mubahala, and I know, folks, by the way, David agreed to do 45 minutes just because he has other commitments, so we want to use his time wisely. We have about 20 minutes left, brother. So you mentioned Mubahala a couple of times. I'm sure some people don't probably follow along with what that means. It's coming from chapter 3, verse 61. If you want to elaborate a little bit more on that, please go ahead.
Yeah, so the general idea of a mubahala is that you got people who have a disagreement, and so Ali Dawah was going to say it has to be theist, it can't be an atheist, but you have some people, Muslims and Christians, and they're going to get together and they're going to say, we call down the curse of Allah on whoever's wrong here, and then we sit back and see who's wrong. And so Muhammad entered into one of these. And what's amazing, do you know about this, Al? Like, Muhammad and everyone died. I mean, Muhammad died not too long after the Mubahala. His daughter Fatima, his daughter Fatima, and he had several kids who were already dead, but then his daughter Fatima died shortly after him, and it depends on who you go to. There are people who say, and she died of a broken heart. You'll have Shias who say that she died when other Muslims who were the supporters of the Abu Bakr side of the division stormed her house and crushed her, I think with the door, something like that. And so, but the idea is Muhammad entered into this, and God, cursed the person who's lying. But I mean, his family line didn't do too well.
It did not. His grandsons also that he took with him allegedly died also, Hassan and Hussein. So it's a cursing party, and and incidentally, the context of that particular chapter has to do with Muhammad's argument with the Christians from Najran about the nature of Christ, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. And so things did not go well for Muhammad after that. And so here you have 14 centuries later, Ali Dawah.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, David, you had that experience one time. You and Nabil brought a guy, let's call him Ahmed, as you called him in the article yourself. And he was an Ahmadiyya Muslim, became an Orthodox Muslim. He came to your one of apologetics events, and somehow you and him connected, but then he wanted it actually to have some sort of a dialogue, if you wish, or debate about Christianity and Islam. And he brought up the Mubahala to you.
Yeah, this was, his name was Asen. He actually challenged me to a Mubahala. I didn't think I'd enter into it. And what I said to him was, I said that I'm not going to call down a curse on you. I said, I'm not going to call down a curse on you. I said, I will call down a curse on myself if I'm wrong. If you're right and I'm wrong, I will call down. So notice, I don't believe that he's right. I don't believe in his God. I don't believe in that. But I'm still saying, okay, if I'm wrong, then your God can give me this curse. Right? Same thing that AP would have ended up doing. So we actually went up onto this it's not a huge mountain, it's more like a hill. We went up there. It was me, Nabil, Farhan Qureshi is there. Farhan is an apostate now. He got into like Eastern religion and so on, but Farhan was there. And then Asen, I'm not going to mention his last name. And so we entered into this contract and so on. I said, okay, if I'm wrong, then what we agreed to was, I said, if I'm wrong, then God will kill me within a year. And if I'm right and I'm speaking the truth, I pray that God will increase my ministry and help me to destroy Islam.
Amen to that, brother.
And so that was the agreement. Anyway, not long after that, I got a message from Asen, and he was saying that he's backing out of the Mubahala. He's backing out of the Mubahala. So everything that he called down upon himself, he's backing out just because a bunch of not terribly bad things, but little bad things. And then he started getting like anxiety attacks or something like that. And so he said he's backing out. And I said, no problem. I'll stay. I'll stay under the Mubahala. I'll stay under my agreement.
But he backed out, David, because he didn't want to acknowledge defeat. Let's say he reinterpreted what was going on.
Yeah, and he basically said, "Hey, I'm." His reasoning was, which he had to justify in order to get out of that. His reasoning was, he said, "I'm not actually qualified to do something like this. I'm not in the position of a leader to do something like this, and so I'm backing out." And so he went ahead and backed out, and yep, here we are. Years. And what's amazing is no one knew who I was back then. No one had any clue who I was back then. And it's just funny that I've got it somewhere. I could pull out the Mubahala contract. I actually like gouged myself and signed it in blood and stuff like that to show that I wasn't scared of what was going to happen. But yeah, I've got it somewhere. And yeah, it was something like that. Something like, hey, if I'm wrong, God will kill me within a year. And if I'm right, then I want God to bless my ministry so it gets bigger and bigger, and Muslims leave Islam, and God uses me to help destroy Islam. And here we are.
Yeah,
here we are having fun.
So where do you see this headed, David, in the next like 10 minutes or so? Where do you see this whole thing heading towards? Is it the Ali Dawah and the Muhammad Hijab side going to continue to grow their supporters and their followers and subscribers, or are people going to wake up now to what's going on?
Yeah, see, people know where I stand because I've been saying this for several years. There are lots of Christians or lots of atheists who, they get attacked, they get insulted by Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawah, and their fans and so on. They think, can't these guys just go away? Can't Muslims please shout these guys down and get rid of these guys so we could go back to the good old days of people like Shabir Ali, people who are nice? And I'm thinking, no, Shabir Ali does not show you what Islam is really like. These guys show you the true spirit of Islam. So they may make you feel bad. They may make you feel like you need to go take a bath after you spend 5 minutes discussing something with them online. Because keep in mind, I'm not exaggerating when I talk about the bath. When I talk about, Muhammad Hijab and sending us messages, why don't you give each other golden showers and things like just disgusting, filthy stuff. Muhammad Hijab sending, AP's wife these threats of rape and torture and so on. And then Ali Dawah saying that he would tell his 9-year-old daughter if she got her first period that she's ready for marriage, announcing that they're going to kill, when he takes over, he's going to kill apostates and so on. These, like it or not, these are the guys that we would want representing Islam so that people see what it really is and then say, this is horrible. I want no part of this. I need to be criticizing this. I need to be criticizing Muhammad. I need to be criticizing the Quran. If this is what it leads to. So these are the guys we want. So I've been saying for several years, these are the guys you want, these kinds of guys as the representatives, as the lead representatives of Dawah. And what people might say is, well, David, if these are the guys you really want, why are you announcing it? Why don't you keep that secret? Right? Why are you telling everyone what's happening here? Well, and the reason is I don't believe they can stop it, right? I don't believe Sajid, Lipham, and so on. I don't believe they can stop these guys. Well, let me put it this way. You could, with enough effort, stop them, but the amount of damage you would do in the civil war would be so horrendously bad to the Islamic community that you would conclude that it's not going to be worth it, because you have to bring down the biggest guys on YouTube and all their followers and their fans and so on. And you're in the minority, right? You're the underdogs. So the amount of fighting you would have to do in the Ummah to get this done is just, it would destroy your religion way faster than anything that's going on. And so what you're going to see is they're going to have to patch things up, right? The different sides are going to have to patch things up and say, okay, let's agree. We see things differently, and so on. Someone's going to have to step inside, and that's what the people who are saying, "Hey, guys, you're embarrassing Islam with this fighting." That's really bad advice, because what they're saying is, "Hey, just pretend like you don't have this disagreement, and guys, both sides continue on going and doing your dawah." If you're like the Sajid Lipham side, you're looking at this saying, "Wait a minute. This is what Ali Dawah is like when he's got like 700,000 subscribers. What's he going to be like when he's got 1.5 million? What's he going to be like if he has 5 million? It's kind of like, if I don't do something to stop this mess now, I'll never have an opportunity to stop it again." So the people are saying, "Oh, stop disagreeing. It's becoming an embarrassment, this infighting, this civil war, this bickering in the Muslim community." Those people who want to, hey, let's just focus on dawah right now, I don't realize that they've already created their own monsters, and their own monsters are already uncontrollable. I mean, it's like you create Godzilla or something like that. Ali Dawah is not Godzilla level or anything like that. I mean, for in the dawah community, that's what he's like, right? He's like if you were to make a Godzilla through some nuclear accident or something like that, you get these superstars, these rock stars, but their egos are like that. Their egos are like, I'm Godzilla, I'm King Kong, right? I'm so powerful, I'm so strong. And you can't, if you can't stop these guys now, if they can overwhelm you now, what are they going to be like 3-4 years from now? They're going to be totally unstoppable. They're going to be doing even worse stuff. They're not going to get more calm and wiser as they become more popular. It's going to become way more of a disaster as their popularity grows. And so if you're Sajid, you're thinking, wow, I need to do something about this now. And if you're Hijab and Ali Dawah, you're thinking, who are you? I will crush you. I will crush you. You're no match for me. And you have the other people who are going, this is really bad. And then you've got me going, wow, what awesome timing here. You got the avalanche of apostasy, and you guys are destroying yourselves instead of doing something about it. This is really awesome. But you know what I've noticed, Al? I've noticed what the key, I should make a video about this, but I've spotted the key difference between these guys, because you've got Sunnis and Shias. That has nothing to do with this dispute right now. You have, within Sunni Islam, you have these different sects. You have the Salafis and so on. That's not what this is about. The main divide right now that's leading to this civil war is Muslims are supposed to love Allah and Muhammad and the Quran. They're supposed to love those things. They're supposed to love Allah, Muhammad, the Quran, and their fellow Muslims. And they're supposed to hate the enemies of Allah. So people like us. You're supposed to love these things and hate these things over here. Well, you've got some Muslims who love Allah and Muhammad and the Quran more than they hate us. But you have other Muslims who hate us. They hate me, they hate you, they hate the apostate prophet, they hate us more than they love Allah and Muhammad. And when you are fueled primarily by your hatred of people you regard as your enemies, then you're in all kinds of trouble. Now, by the way, who do you think I'm talking about? Who are the people who hate us more than they love Allah?
That's obviously the Ali Dawah, the Muhammad Hijab side.
Yeah, and the people like Sajid and his buddy Abdul Rahman and everyone on their side, they're the people who they still hate us. They just love Allah more than they hate us, right? And so if you're looking at what's going on, right, Ali Dawah will come out and call the apostate prophet a name, knowing as soon as he calls the apostate prophet a name, the apostate prophet is going to call Muhammad a name. And Ali Dawah, in his mind, well, it was worth it because I called him a name. And if you're Sajid, you're saying, who do you think this guy is that you think it's so important that you insult him that you think it's worth it if he insults Muhammad back? Keep in mind, AP was not going to toss out random name calling to Muhammad till Ali Dawah starts with the name calling. And so, but that's the idea, right? If AP were on a pedestal, if AP were actually, they've put him on a pedestal. They put people like me and AP on this pedestal, and they would think, no, we haven't. No, we didn't do that. Yes, you did, because you guys think it's so important to attack us that if the only way to jump up and slap the apostate prophet in his face were to trample on Muhammad and a pile of Qurans and Allah to get up there and slap him, they do it. They do it in a heartbeat and they would say, I smacked in his face. Did you see that? And Sajid would be going, gosh, you just stepped on Allah and Muhammad and a pile of Qurans. How dare you? And they'd be going, but I got him. I slapped him right in the face. Right? And they don't get it. And so that's the situation they're in right now, that the people like Ali Dawah, it's, hey, I'm humiliating them. I'm humiliating them. I'm telling them that they're going to kill them. I'm saying that they're stupid. And these other guys are saying, what's the cost? And that's the amazing thing. You see, at the end of the day, I'm inconsequential. Christianity doesn't stand or fall with D Wood, doesn't stand or fall with UL. Atheism doesn't stand or fall with the apostate prophet. We are inconsequential. And if God wanted to take me and you out of the picture right now, God could replace us with better people. Like there are people who are really, really sad. How could God let Nabil die? I didn't want Nabil to die, but I had to tell these people, God could raise up 1,000 Nabil Qureishis right now. If God does, if God's all worried and he doesn't know, and he doesn't have a plan, God could raise up 1,000 Nabil Qureishis in a heartbeat. We're not in danger right now from losing this guy or that guy. When Muhammad and the Quran go under the bus, Islam's in trouble because Islam stands upon them, right? So here's this situation. We've got all these da'is right now, and they're blasting away at me. They're blasting away at you. They're blasting away at AP. They're hurling insults at us. And in the long run, it doesn't really matter because we're replaceable. Whereas we're blasting away at the foundations of Islam. And so keep in mind, if 2 years from now we all disappear and other people if they like humiliated us into submission, if Ali Dawah just insulted us so much that we said, I can't take the insults anymore, I'm out of here. Well, if he was successful at that, then guess what? We've already done massive damage to the foundations of Islam. And even if he had total victory over us, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because more people are going to come along. And so that's what these guys don't get. That's what the Ali Dawahs don't get. It's I can finish with this here. Idolatry isn't just making false gods. It's making false devils as well, right? And what these guys have done is they've set up these false devils on pedestals that, if I just get them, if I just get the devil, I will have saved my religion. And they don't get it. And it's on the one hand, it's kind of sad to watch because it's sad that people think like this, that, hey, if I just heap enough threats on people, if I just heap enough abuse on people attacking their wives, I will save my religion. It's like insane and idiotic. But given the people and how they act, people like Ali Dawah and Muhammad, you kind of have to sit back and grab some popcorn and say, I'm going to enjoy watching your ideology fall because it produces stuff like this.
Yes, I agree. Well, brother, I know your time is up. It's exciting to have you, of course. People are enjoying, of course, this conversation. I hope to have you back again. In fact, I want people to know that in about possibly, I think it's almost like 6 weeks from now, David and myself will be in our studios and basically doing some recordings, but we will be doing some live streams. And I'm hoping that AP can join us in one of those live streams if his schedule permits. And maybe we can continue talk about these kind of issues and see the recent developments. Some people are saying that Ali Dawah did a video today responding to Sajid, and Sajid did another video exposing him and Muhammad Hijab. So it seemed like it's headed in the right direction.
Yeah, there's no win. If Sajid wins and these other guys back down, then they've lost their most popular da'is who are schooling everyone else. If Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawah, if they win this dispute, well, then they're just going to get bigger and bigger and more uncontrollable till they're just trampling on all of Islam to get to the people they don't like. And if the people who are calling for peace in the Muslim community, guys, brothers, stop fighting. If those people win, then great. The two sides are just going to get bigger and bigger, and they're still at odds. And it'll be next year, or it'll be the year after that when they'll collide, and they'll be much bigger. And so it'll be it'll be a bigger disaster. And so, gosh, look at the timing. All right here in the midst of what it's like. It's like you're at the bottom of a mountain, and there's this mountain, and there's this avalanche starting, and you see all this snow pouring down at you. It's about to bury you, and you're sitting there with a couple of your friends, and you're like, "Hey, there's an avalanche coming towards us. Let's all beat the crap out of each other." And you all start hitting each other. It's like, are you nuts? Are you crazy? That's what they're doing. And welcome to Islam.
Amen. Glory to God, brother. He is, at the end of the day, he's victorious, and we are victorious in him. Well, brother, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to do so. And I am going just maybe to finish up in a few more minutes here, but I don't want to hold you up, obviously. But I'll see you also in about 10 days from now at the conference. And I look forward to spending more time with you, brother.
All right.
Thank you so much. All right. God's peace with you. And everyone, I will be with you for a few more minutes, guys, and we will continue our talk about upcoming events. All righty. So, but David, before you just leave, any new projects that you'll be doing for people to know, like videos and things that you'll be publishing soon?
Oh, they'll see.
They'll see. Okay.
They'll see.
That's awesome.
I got some cool stuff coming up.
That's cool. Yep. All right, brother. Well,
all right.
I will see you, my man. Take care. And I will be in touch, of course, pretty soon here. Mm-hmm. Okay, everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed being here with us today. As I mentioned, at the end of March, we are going to have David and joining us in our studios. And of course, it's always exciting when David is with us. We love to have him, and it's a lot of fun. And we hope also to do some live streams as usual at that time. And I'm going to approach AP, and hopefully he will be willing also to join us. Not that he doesn't want to. Sometimes his schedule and his timing, of course, might make a big difference. I will be having my surgery, by the way, folks, for the second time. That's part 2, towards the end of this month. I believe it's going to be on Friday, the 25th. Incidentally, it's the day before I will be seeing David, which is the 26th. I will be in a conference. I'll be teaching. And I understand, at least from Vocab, that it will be live streamed. So many of you probably will end up watching it either live or a later time. So I appreciate your prayers, especially for this procedure. It's supposed to be an outpatient, but if it was like last time, it was a little bit, of a kind of a, takes a toll on your energy. The amount of medication that you get, sometimes it weakens you. So I'm hoping that it will not have this side effect that I had last time. All that to say is that the battle will continue. And we will keep on just marching right along. And today's topic is really telling of how God works, and God allows things like this to happen to bring glory to his name. So let us pray for the Muslims who are waking up to the reality of what's happening between their Taoist, or Dawah, propagandists, if you wish, and that they realize really their faith shouldn't be placed on these young, basically propagandists, but rather in the true God. There's a lot of young Muslims, like David mentioned, who are leaving Islam, but many of them are also gravitating towards atheism. I will be bringing someone next week who left New Age and became a believer, because there's a lot of young Muslims also who are gravitating towards this New Age thing. So we need to be praying for them because they're definitely searching for the truth, but they just need to find the truth. They need to find the truth in Christ, of course. And, another thing that I wanted just to mention here is that tomorrow I have a live stream with Brother Mill. I believe it's going to be at 8 p.m. London time. We are going to be talking about a mosque that's considered to be one of the oldest mosques in China. And I've received a lot of comments about it. People got excited and say, see, we have mosque in China that dates back to the days of the Prophet, because I think the age of the mosque was like 638. It's actually a church that was converted later to a mosque. So we'll be talking about that. And then we are going to talk about the Basmala and its Syriac origin. The Basmala is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, which is usually at the top or at the beginning of each chapter of the Quran, with the exception to chapter number 9. So we'll be covering all of that, and I will be announcing this either tonight or first thing in the morning. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Until next time, this is Al Fadi, over and out. God bless. Take care.